There we go. Every time my computer restarts, it resets the audio device so that there's no... so that OBS doesn't pick up audio. I have sometimes recorded part of a video, like the first part of a video, and then I put it into Movie Studio, and there's just no audio on it. That is rather annoying. So I've got to go back, re-record it. And yeah, it's a bit of a hassle, but I mean, it's better to actually have audio. I don't know why it is as well. It just resets it to be the... Like when I go to advanced audio properties, if I... Wait, no, that's not the right thing. Like if I bring this over to here and go over to here, right, and then I go to my and I go to properties. Yeah, defaults to default for some reason. But anyway, how are people? I see I've got people watching. How's everyone? Is the chat broken or something? So MSI content says, hi from Australia. Still not flat here, I checked. Well, that's good. I have checked multiple times to see whether it's flat, and I haven't found anything that would suggest that it would be flat. And Damien McAlpine says, it's Sunday, so... yeah, well, Sunday's always a good day. Let me switch back to... I mean, it's Monday here, right? Which... Hello, Paul Kopp from Canada. Does that actually say CA, or is that... Oh, it does say CA. It's one of them, like, really tiny CAs. So, there's been some interesting things that I've been hearing about lately. Like, if we just... One of the interesting things is if we go to Worldometers, I wonder how, like, the COVID stuff is all going. Like, I mean, there was this thing here where it was, like, a low amount of deaths and low amount of new cases. But both of them have gone up recently, which is really disappointing. I mean, I thought that the pandemic was coming to an end. And I mean, USA is an example of how it's... See? Daily new cases going up. Active cases going up. Deaths going up. Australia is another good example if I go there. See? It's just all shot up. New Zealand, though. Let's look at New Zealand. Oh, look at that. Like, everything's fairly stable here. You know, we got a handle on all this. So Queensland is okay at the moment. You're in Brisbane, New South Wales, not so much. Yeah, I've heard that. Like, you've got... Which state is Dictator Dan from? Or quote-unquote Dictator Dan? Because I remember hearing, like, Gladys Berejiklian taking... I think it was Gladys Berejiklian that was taking shots at... I think it was Dan Andrews. For... Oh, wait, what? No, it might have been one of the Sky News people that was taking shots at Dan Andrews. It was someone. Wait, let me make sure it's Dan Andrews and that I don't... Dan Yeah, premiere of... Oh, Victoria. Okay. Yeah, Victoria... Paul Cop asks, are you guys accepting immigrants from Canada at this point? No, we're not accepting... Currently, I think the earliest that we may be opening our borders is sometime in 2022. And Flurf Hunter says, hi, plan a walk from... Is that Fife or Fife? I'm going to assume it's Fife, because Scotland. But ahoy hoy, Flurf Hunter. But yeah, like... New Zealand has been doing consistently well. Sky News, we have our own, very own Fox News, ultimate source of truth. Yeah, let's jump to YouTube. Not Pornhub, but YouTube. Anyway, let's go over to here. Actually, I should probably search up Sky News Australia. Like, I get recommendations from these guys all the time. Right. They got banned for a week as well. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, like, you've got, you got, like, this is Sky News Australia, right? So, you got Boris Johnson. To be fair, like, there's a lot of criticisms towards Joe Biden for what's been going on lately. And, you know, Republicans arguing the catastrophe unfolding in Afghanistan could have been avoided. And Queensland tightens border controls with New South Wales. Obviously, it's a lot of the Afghanistan thing stuff, because, you know, you can criticize Joe Biden for pulling out of Afghanistan, but like, I've seen some crazy stuff on here. Push to rename English is from an academic with far too much time. Like, who? I don't know why they're... Maybe... I don't know what this is about. What's one of the... What's one of the, like... I'm sure there's been something that I've seen that's, like... Definitely... Holy shit, they put out a lot of videos. That's why there's so many Taliban videos. Oh! You got... Yeah, they're talking about the woke activists. Jeez. No, it seems to be the MO, like, talk about woke activists, you know, try and push the culture war. Should we, like, go and see what this culture war bullshit is about? Because that might be fun. More Taliban stuff, you know. You got the standard, you know, talking about technology. What else is there? It's hard to look at every single thing. Oh yeah, you've got the obvious stuff here. China refuses to cooperate with COVID origins probe. Isn't that a common thing that's been going on though? Like, Damien McAlpine says, I get recommendations from all sorts of Christian propaganda stuff, especially PragerU and China Uncensored with whole wokeness and communism crap. Yeah. Oh. That's typical stuff of a news thing. Saying fairness and inclusivity incompatible in sports. How well did I do with the news thing there? Welcome to Sky News Australia with me, Planawalk, and today we're gonna be talking about the woke Communist Party of Australia. How accurate was that? It sounds really accurate in my head, but I don't know. PragerU ads are a punishment by YouTube for turning off ad tracking. Probably, yeah. Sounds accurate. I can actually... Oh, one of the things, seeing as I'm seeing a lot of vaccine stuff here, is I've actually noticed that I will be able to get vaccinated on September 1st, which is finally... I see so many people in America that are getting vaccinated, and it's one of them cases where it's... So I'll be able to go in and get vaccinated soon. Just 15 more days. What's this? Yeah, but do we want to? Oh, where is it? Do we want to have a look at the, what is it? The English stuff. What's the English stuff? I'll put a poll in the chat when I finally find the English stuff. Here we go. The woke activists have set their sights on children with new English proposal. I'll put a poll in chat. Because we are going to melt our brains today with something. Let me see if there's anyone... Should we watch the woke act? Because I don't actually have... I don't actually know what I'm doing in this stream. So... There we go. You cannot melt which does not exist. Are you saying that you don't have brains? I thought it was the flat earthers that don't have brains. Ahoy hoy, Bella Charge. How's it going? Okay, so it seems that yes is winning. It's going to be interesting to see whether I actually agree with this, because I doubt I'll agree with what I was going to say Fox News. No, it's Sky News Australia. Brains are overrated. Yeah, well, flat earthers know that brains are overrated, don't they? So everyone's overwhelmingly in the yes camp. 9 votes for yes, 1 for no. Well, let it go for another 3 minutes. Maybe I should start like a news thing. Because I remember doing like Flat Earth News. Or Flat Earth News, should I say. You lost all yours listening to Flurfs. Don't know how you all can do it. Yeah, I don't know either. Like, I'll watch a Flurf video, I'll be like, this is so bad. How do they come up with this bullshit? Dearth actually sent me down a really weird rabbit hole lately. The other day, I was watching one of his videos and it's like, so let me just see who this person is. And it's funny that he quotes this particular person because, yeah, I'll make a video on it, but it's one of them things where it led me to reading a paper that was specifically put out to debunk this person or to push back against this person's claims. Now everyone taking on Johnny O. Who's Johnny O? Is it Johnny O from the plot hole? What's that? Because that's what I think of. Mind melted listening to Kent Hovind trying to debate Aaron Ra. It's a funny show, but man, did the stupid hurt my head. Yeah, I mean, Kent Hovind trying to debate anyone is funny, right? You got like him trying to debate conspiracy cats, and it's just a whole case of, I'm not prepared for that. You know? Can we crowdfund a hitman to deal with Fat Rupert? Wouldn't his son just take over, though? I feel like his son would just take over if someone were to kill Rupert Murdoch. You know, like, if I actually just search up Rupert Murdoch, go to images, right? Alright, tell me that this man is not melting. Like, he's melting, right? Like, so I'm fairly certain that soon, like, his cheeks are just going to melt off his face. So, I don't think that he has very long. Like, I don't know what's keeping him alive there. I don't know. I didn't know humans could look like this. Although I suppose we've got Mitch McConnell, don't we? Like, Mitch McConnell is also melting. Like, let's look at Mitch McConnell. See, like, Mitch McConnell is just, like, melting. Oh, there's the Exxon CEO that's... Is it CEO? No, I don't want to know the salary. Oh, there was that... Oh, I don't know who it was. It was one of the CEOs. Or something. Is it Rex Tillerson? No, it's not that guy. It was like someone from ExxonMobil. Anyway, let's see if... He's just a dehydrated turtle. Anyway, we're going to be watching the woke activists have set their sights on children with... whatever... with... we've got the ads. Okay, Sky News Australia. What is it? What have you got for us? And let me know how the volume leveling is, chat.
You know, there are some very far left-leaning influences in Australian education that need to be weeded out. I mean, we've got senior education executives whose life goal, it seems, is to be the indoctrination of children, to ensure they reject awful capitalism, you know, the disease that actually creates jobs, and especially colonialism. That time
It's funny that he says, you know, like, capitalism creates jobs. Like, yeah, it creates jobs, but, like, is jobs really the most important thing? Like, surely there's something better than, like, you know, just creating, like, churning out jobs for everyone. Like, even when they're bullshit jobs. Like, you know, there's things like market... Oh, no. I won't call it that. There's things like super capitalism that would work better.
In history, which transformed static cultures into productive civilizations. And of late, they reached these goals by cancelling history and tradition because the facts may not be perfect for their PC-perfect society.
I don't know of, like, any left-wing people that are trying to, like, get rid of history, right? They want to teach history because those that do not know history are doomed to repeat it. Anyway, we're 30 seconds in and he hasn't mentioned what's actually...
The latest attempt at cancelling our educational history comes from another dreadfully woke activist, an academic who's calling for English to be scrapped from the curriculum. English. Melissa Hogarth is a former Queensland school teacher and University of Melbourne Senator Senior...
Oh, so they're not just wanting to rename English, apparently. Right? They're wanting to get rid of English. Let's see what he has to say about this. Let's see if what he's saying is actually true.
Lecturer who sees English as an act of assimilation.
Really?
So teaching Australians to speak the most commonly used language in the Western world is wrong? Calling it English?
Oh, okay. I do like that he had to specify Western world because, you know, Mandarin is the most common language in the world, right? He did have to say, like, Western world, like, don't mind Mandarin, like, Chinese and stuff, you know?
Worse still, the English language has been evolving for 1,400 years. We've managed quite well with English, and even the name English. It derives from the English, but we're supposed to be ashamed of it.
Okay, but what is she actually trying to do?
Providing us with easily taught communication, it's enabled us to hook up easily with, you know, first world Western countries for trade, scientific, medical purposes, the rest of it.
I mean, that's the point of language.
Today on my radio program with federal education.
Yeah, but what is she actually trying to do? Like, did she actually, like, all he said was, oh, she's trying to get rid of English. Like, yeah, why? What is she actually trying to do? Like, she's just trying to get rid of English because it's assimilating people into... What? Like, you're a news show. You should say, okay, this is what she's doing. This is why she's trying to do it. Not just be like, oh yeah, this is bad because, you know, we all use English. Like, I might agree with you if you actually tell me what she's trying to do. Like, if they're trying to just get rid of English, you know, not teach English anymore, then yeah, that's probably a bad thing. Right? But why?
Minister Alan Tudge. This proposal is coming from someone quite respected in educational circles.
What proposal? He says, oh, this proposal, you know, it's the woke activists. I'm not going to tell you what the proposal is. It's like, I want to know which proposal you're talking about so I can actually be informed.
She went on to say that English was about maintaining power and privilege and asserting the besieged sovereignty of the colonial state. Oh. This is a woman who is in the education faculty of our #1 ranked university. She's an assistant dean, though.
Okay, so it was... So what did he said?
Education faculty of our #1
Hold on.
power and privilege. And asserting
okay, so it's because of power and privilege. Okay, I'd probably disagree with that. Like, just because something is perceived to promote power and privilege doesn't mean that it's something that we shouldn't teach, right? I'm sure that there's like a lot of things, like economics, for example, right? That in a way would promote power and privilege, but I don't think that we, like home economics, right? Take something like that, or even just economics in general. That would probably promote power and privilege, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't teach it. But what is she actually proposing, Chris?
Sovereignty of the colonial state. This is a woman who is in the education faculty of our #1 ranked university. She's an assistant dean, no less, teaching our future teachers, and it's this sort of nonsense which she's espousing. Like, that's what makes me really cross, Chris, because it's not just about some silly idea. It's about the fact that she's training our future teachers.
An assistant dean playing the victim card, which only divides people. That's what she's doing.
Yeah, but
it's
what...
also presumed
Chris,
the wording...
Chris, what is she doing? Tell us. Like, is she just trying to get rid of English because of that? I doubt it's... Like, for some reason, I don't think that it's as simple as he's making it out to be. Like, we can go... What we're going to do is we're going to find out what's actually going on here, and then see if it's as crazy as Chris Smith is trying to make it out to be.
English was somehow adopted to describe the English language as some kind of conspiracy tactic to keep the colonials compliant. It's rubbish. But the alternative being pushed, what is it? Replace English with language art. Hogarth goes on to...
That's fine! What? Language art! That's fine! That's a better descriptor of English than English is. Like, do you... It's a far better... Like, language art is a far better descriptor of what English is than English. Like, what... I don't know what you were taught in high school, but I remember I wasn't really taught much English in English class. Like, English was more about literacy than whatever... than learning the English language. Right? Maybe we learned a few words, but most of it was about, literacy, you know, trying to make sure you understand things like structure of English. Make sure you understand, like, half of it was, interpretation of, like, works of literacy. Like, things like Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, or that one that begins with O, that was by Shakespeare. That's what English was. It wasn't like... Okay, now, what does discombobulated mean, class? Othello, yes, that's the one. Yeah, Moonjay said this class was always called English and Language Arts. Yeah, it's like, most of English is language arts. Like, it is... What's the problem? And also, I do agree that, you know, English should be called language arts because of the simple fact is that it's just better in general to teach language more as a concept rather than... literature was probably what I was looking for as part of it. Giza the Master Reviewer says, "Hi guys, you're on Planet Walk, you're on TV, well mine anyway." It's just more performance out. Yeah, like, this isn't... I'm gonna leave my dislike right here, like... I've watched this, so more interaction can't hurt, right? I want to see what the comments say. Like, it's gonna be saying, oh, these these damn SJWs, like, you know, they can't have English anymore. It's like, English in high school at least, right? English in primary school, yeah, I can understand it being called English because, you know, you actually get taught things like spelling, you know, how to spell words. Although, you know, maybe we should change that. Maybe we should teach people that cat is spelt K-A-T. You know, you can spell it C-A-T, but it's also spelt K-A-T. That would be an interesting thing. Be interesting to see how English would evolve that way. Mostly because it's one of the things where, like, why isn't it K-A-T? Anyway.
Say she intends to disrupt and scrutinise the role subject English played, keep with me, in maintaining the status quo.
Yeah, I agree, Gizza. Like, why not change it to reading and writing? There's literacy in your primary school. Okay. Yeah, like, literacy. Just call it literacy in primary school, you know? Maybe reading and writing. Whatever it is, like, it doesn't need to be called English. Like, that's actually very misleading. Like, the only reason why it's called English is because we all speak English. Right? If in other classes or in other countries, I'd assume that English would be very much like how we teach things like Japanese here, right? Because I remember taking Japanese, and it was one of the things where we had to learn the characters, we had to learn certain phrases, we had to learn the way in which the language was structured. Damien McAlpine says, "Man, the news these days is worse than Twitter." Yeah, this is worse than Twitter. Now, maybe I might be doing what Chris Smith is doing. Like, I'll admit, I'm doing the same thing that Chris Smith is doing. You know, Chris Smith is being outraged over like this person wanting to rename English, and I'm being outraged over Chris Smith. You know, Chris Smith is going to be like, local YouTuber Plainer Walk is outraged over me. But I'm also laughing at him, like laughing at the sheer stupidity. And this guy has an audience. You know, he has a video that has 11,000 views. Right, now, sure, I have a few videos with 11,000 views, but it's not my typical thing. I'll typically get a few thousand views. But, you know, there's a possibility to reach an audience of 1.8 million subscribers. Oh, you studied in English? You studied a language? Obligatory request to count to 10. Ichi, ni, sen, yon, go, roku, nana, hachi, kyu, ju. Ichi, ni, sen, yon, go, roku, nana, hachi, kyu, ju. Yep, that's to 10. I've probably used the wrong thing for 4. But, like, I just can't remember the 2 different things for 4 in Japanese. Anyway.
And asserting the besieged sovereignty of the colonial state. What does that even mean? At least the current education minister...
What was he going on about?
...recognised the role subject English played, keep with me, in maintaining the status quo and asserting the besieged sovereignty of the colonial state. What does that even mean?
I don't know what she means. Like, there are some things that people use that are really weird, like the way they describe it. It's like I'd actually, like, here's what I'd say is very simple, like a simple way to go about things, right? Like, if you want to change the name of English, and I don't think the name of English should be changed, right? Because you barely learn English in English. I think it should be changed to something like either literacy or what what she suggested. Was it literacy arts? I have a goldfish memory. Or language arts. And one person just asked, what's written on your shirt, by the way? So, Dunning-Kruger was done on people like you and found that you guys think you're smarter than you actually are, so it doesn't apply to me. A flat earther on the internet. There's actually... after this part, I'll put it up here. Anyway.
At least the current Education Minister is on the side of common sense.
It needs to be rejected, but it's deeply concerning that these types of views infect our universities and infect the training of our future teachers. That's what's most concerning about all of this, Chris.
The way that Ellen Tudge was speaking there is like really... It worries me for the education of Australians, to be honest. Like, if this is your education minister speaking like some, I don't know, Jordan Petersen clone, right? You know, it's very worrying how she's infecting It's very worrying how she's infecting our universities. This should not be allowed. Like, what is he? Jordan Petersen? No. Oh, I'd hope he's not Jordan Petersen.
Over your dead body as long as you're Education Minister, I hope?
Absolutely not, Chris. Absolutely not.
Well, but what chance do we really have, though, to uphold respect for what works, to further assimilate and create independent thought in our educational institutions when you've got these campaigns on the loose? Like, seriously. We've got to keep pushing back because woke activists now occupy key roles in society, and I've got to tell you, they're winning.
Remember, it's the woke activists that have key roles in our society. And so we're just gonna complain about them. And then you got... So people are saying things like English is now racist, so learning German, Latin, French or Latin isn't. Someone stop all this nonsense now. Oh, like, what was her name again? Like,
Who's calling for English comes from another dreadfully woke activist, an academic who's calling for English to be scrapped from the curriculum. English. Melita Hogarth is a...
Melita Hogarth. There we go. Melita Hogarth. Okay, let's see what comes. Here we go, like New Zealand Herald. What have we got? An Australian academic has suggested the school subject English be renamed Language Arts, arguing the subject's traditional name could be viewed as an act of assimilation. But the idea has been rejected by Australians. Education Minister Ellen Tudge, who labelled it nonsense and political correctness gone mad. Said alternatives for the name for the subject English could be language arts or languages, literacy and communications. Indigenous woman and educator proposed the theory. This wasn't enough that the first peoples had been disposed of their lands, their children stolen, but also their languages were silenced, and it dictated within the government-controlled missions that English should be spoken, she said at the conference. A supposedly superior language, the language of the oppressor, just to make Sure, you didn't know who the oppressor was. Let's call that subject English. Some left asking, is the subject English another act of assimilation? What does she teach? What does... Hold on, what does she teach? I'm curious. Research interest policy discords indigenous education initial teacher. Okay, so she teaches teachers. It's one of them things where I don't mind changing the name English, because let's be honest, English isn't about English, right? We should call it, like, I like the idea of calling it either language arts or languages, literacy, and communications. I do somewhat disagree of the of it being an act of assimilation. Like, I mean, maybe, but that's a bit of a stretch. You'd have to go into an in-depth conversation about it. However, I absolutely agree with changing it to language arts, because English isn't really about English. She's a minister. They are not capable of teaching. But, hold on. Didn't it say that she's a... It's... Where is it? Where does it say the thing that I was just reading before? Australian academic... yeah, senior lecturer. But yeah, like, I think that it should be renamed, because it's not about English, it's about literacy. Oh. I wouldn't say that it's about literacy. Like, if you're reading Shakespeare in your classes, you know, if you're reading Shakespeare in your classes, that's not about English. That's not about the English language. That's, like, part of it will be, because Shakespeare, you know, was influential on the English language. But most of it was like, okay, how does Romeo and Juliet, like, what was the message? And it's like, okay, what was the message of Othello? And it's like, don't be racist. I can barely remember, like, or some of it. Shawshank Redemption was another thing that we watched, right? Like, what was the meaning behind this scene? And it's like, it's like, you know, the meaning behind the scene is he escaped. Yeah, English has moved on a lot since Shakespeare. So, in a way, it could be like... I do think that we do need to update things, like not just English, but, like, literacy in general has moved on since Shakespeare, right? We've now got, like, heaps of different books that you can read. I mean, you've got the whole... I mean, you could choose, like, any of... is it... No, not Pat Robertson. That's a crazy far... Richard Petersen? No, Robert Petersen, I'm thinking? Am I thinking? Like, that person that made, like... He's made, like... Like, if I search how many books has... Oh, James Petersen written. What if I go here? How many books has James Petersen written? At least 24. This has to be a joke, right? Like, Google has to be like, oh yes, it's at least 20, at least 24. Petersen has written more than 200 novels. BB says, I'm back. More info has come in and zero COVID is a total failure, except in New Zealand. It's funny, New Zealanders are the last zero COVID country. How's that funny? We have a far more infectious variant called Delta. That's... You'd expect it to be harder to contain. In fact, there are times when New Zealand was worried about what was going to happen. You know? It's... But wait, it's coming. Half of Australia is in lockdown. Yeah. Half of Australia is in lockdown. Like... We can... Here's the thing. Like, the whole thing with this is... We're at a point where I think that we're at this interesting crossroads, right? Where you've got places that are locking down because we're starting to get a bit complacent. Like, everywhere in the world. Like, even America is... Like, they managed to get... Like, you go over to the United States and look at the COVID, right? You got a point where they only had like 160 deaths in a day. Like, that's well done. Well done for them. However, it's now increasing. Now, the interesting thing is that we've got vaccines now. Now, if we can roll out the vaccines fast enough, then, you know, it's not going to be as bad as this part here. If vaccines can get rolled out fast enough, you know? You got all this. Now, when it comes to places like Australia, they're probably going to have to... It's probably going to be pretty bad for them, you know, because I think they're only like 20% vaccinated. So it's going to be worse for Australia than someplace like America. And so, you know, if you get people vaccinated fast enough, then it can be, it can be avoided. But until people get vaccinated, you have to take measures like lockdown. And BB says, vaccines are leaky and the virus evolves around it. Well, yeah. Like, that's why you don't just have vaccines. I mean, there is a point where herd immunity will work. Of course it isn't total protection. Like, a condom isn't 100% effective, yet I wouldn't... Yeah, it's the same for the flu. Like, I don't get what your point is. Like... Yeah, you need to get people vaccinated, and once you get people vaccinated, everything should be fairly alright. Now, there may still be issues. How's it not like a condom? I'm really confused at what your point is here. Like, yeah, a vaccine isn't 100% effective. A condom's not 100%... No form of contraception is 100% effective. Right? But a vaccine is 95% effective, or at least so it says the vaccines will stop being effective. Well, they'll get less effective, but that's only if we allow it to mutate. That's what the whole issue is, right? That the mutations make the vaccine less effective. So if you have things like lockdown to get us through to a point where the vaccine can be administered to most people, then the vaccine But it continuously evolve. It only evolves if you give it opportunity to evolve. If you lock down, that prevents it from evolving, right? Am I missing something here? And if your point is that we shouldn't do anything about it because the virus will evolve, then like what? What are you suggesting? You're aware vaccines don't stop transmission. It can reduce transmission, from what I understand. Like, well, the way that I understand vaccines is it essentially you'll essentially end up getting a whole lot of helper T cells that memorize, or memory cells, should I say, that memorize what the virus looks like, and will, if anything enters your body that resembles it, or that your body that raises alarms, should we say, then it will go, okay, let's try and get rid of this. Now, it will be something where the virus can replicate a few times in your body, but it won't be as bad as if you had to go through the whole thing, because your body's used to it, so it goes, okay, we know how to fight this, and it eliminates it without any harmful side effects or anything. No! Ooh. Okay, BB, you're going to have to cite something that supports your point. Natural immunity is not superior to a vaccine. People have gotten COVID twice. You don't know about ADE. What is ADE? Okay, we've got antibody dependency enhancement and Let's see. Antibody-dependent enhancement. Immune responses to pathogens. What is ADA? ADE occurs when antibodies generated during an immune response recognize and binds to a pathogen, but they are unable to prevent infection. Instead, these antibodies act as a Trojan horse, allowing the pathogen to get into cells and exacerbate the immune response. Okay. Okay, so it's just something that... But this isn't something that... This is not something that's common, is it? Your point is bullshit. Because if this was the case with the COVID vaccines, then you would have more infections from people that get the COVID vaccine. So what is even your point? You can't do research while on a podcast. I just literally looked up what you're talking about. Like, of course, I can't go ahead and do the full look at everything, but what is your actual? He does, yeah, everything you are, BB, everything that you are saying right now is, I mean, COVID vaccines are some of the most effective vaccines that we've had. So what is your point about respiratory vaccines don't working? I didn't get what your... firstly, your point seems to be that we shouldn't vaccinate people because things can go wrong with vaccinations. No shit, things can go wrong with vaccinations. Right? Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Things can go wrong with vaccinations. But the question is, would you much rather be vaccinated, or would you much rather not be vaccinated? Alright, I'd much rather be vaccinated. Because, if you get COVID, it's not going to be as bad. It'll reduce effects, and your body will wipe it out quicker, meaning that you'll be less infectious to people. Does COVID vaccine prevent or reduce infection rate? Okay, let's see this. This is something in Nature. First link that comes up. How do vaccinated people spread Delta? What science says. Well, it says that... Okay, so firstly, it says that Delta could spread more readily than other coronavirus variants. Right? Okay, whilst when early field data showed that vaccinating people cuts transmission of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, researchers were cautiously optimistic, but they warned that many of those studies, although promising, took place before the fast-spreading Delta variant proliferated worldwide. Now, data from showing that vaccinated people who become infected with SARS-CoV-2 can carry as much virus in their nose as unvaccinated people. This means that despite the protection offered by vaccines, a proportion of vaccinated people can pass on Delta, possibly aiding its rise. Okay. What does it say about this? People who have Delta... Oh! People who have a Delta virus and happen to have breakthrough infections can carry these really high levels of the virus and can unwittingly spread the virus to others. So it's only through breakthrough infections. So if you are vaccinated, guess what? Unless you have a breakthrough infection, then you're not going to infect others. Alright, this is... see, I can... Okay, BB says, look, take it if you want. It's just no miracle cure, and it's totally unnecessary for young and... Like, you do know that people have had long-term COVID, right? And he's saying, no, you are repeating Big Pharma dogma. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Big Pharma, right? But it's not... You are very conspiratorial. Insider asks, what is a breakthrough infection? Infection through the skin? No, it's... so a breakthrough infection is when you've been vaccinated and you end up having an infection of a virus that you've been vaccinated against, despite being vaccinated. So it's... So the idea is something like... it'd be like if you're having sex and you have a condom and the condom breaks or something. That's kind of like what a breakthrough infection is. Basic Triggs says, I've just come from a chat with one YouTube virologist straight into another one. Well, I'm not a virologist. Or are you talking about BB? Yeah, Nijig says it's not unnecessary when young and healthy people can spread it to others, causing serious illness or death. Yeah, that's That's the issue here, right? Like, the issue is... Right, BB. The issue is that people that get infected and spread the disease have a chance for it to mutate. People that have been vaccinated are much less likely to get the disease. Like, wait, wasn't your point when we were debating this shit? Wasn't your entire point herd immunity? Right? Do you know what the vaccines do? You know what they're designed to increase? They're designed to increase herd immunity. Or to get us to herd immunity. That's the whole idea. Like, the whole idea is to get herd immunity so that the whole virus doesn't mutate. If you have herd immunity, the virus will not mutate. Like, it's not vaccines that cause viruses to mutate. It is the fact that people are immune to the disease that causes the disease to mutate. Or higher infectivity rates cause the disease to mutate. No. Natural immunity isn't going to boost. Like, people that get natural immunity still need to take the vaccine because they're still at risk of getting infected again. Hasn't there been a whole lot of evidence of people who had COVID getting COVID twice? COVID COVID reinfection rate. Okay, let's... Here we go. Immunity acquired from prior COVID virus infection, not enough to protect against reinfections, study says. Unvaccinated people who previously had COVID-19 are more than twice as likely to be reinfected than people who were previously infected but got the jab. You still need the vaccine. Oh, that doesn't say much about it, so I wonder what the rate is. Can anyone, like, give me... Natural antibodies... So it says that the mRNA, the antibodies produced by the people that had been vaccinated were more broadly effective against different variants. Vaccine... Oh, okay, here we go. Vaccine protection more consistent. Vaccines also provide far more consistent protection from infection than natural immunity. Recovery from COVID results in very variable immunity to second infection, and this is reflected in the wide range of anti-spike antibodies recovered in patients. On the other hand, the immunity from vaccines is much more uniform, both in terms of protection from COVID and in anti-spike antibody levels. Found that an Oxford study found that people with weaker immune responses from a COVID-19 infection could be at higher risk of contracting new viral variants. Vaccines also induce the body to produce antibodies at levels higher than those who have recovered from COVID-19. So, Yeah, reinfection more common in unvaccinated. We've seen that. So, yeah, that's... So, he's getting proof. Oh, geez, gotta be scared now. Like... Like, here's the thing. I'll just close this down. It'll probably be through email or something, I'm guessing. Let me just go to my Gmail. Here's the thing, like, the arguments are bullshit. Like, you're much safer if you get vaccinated. Go get vaccinated, people. Like, yeah, okay, here's my hot take here. These people that say that they've got proof, this is probably not a hot take. These people that say that, you know, you've got immune responses, they think they've heard this stuff, right? They've heard a lot of people say, oh, you got. You've got natural immunity. You get natural immunity. Natural immunity is better than vaccination immunity, and it's like BB says, "See, you guys have insults but no arguments. Shows weaknesses. Learn to be nice." Like, it's BB. The reason why we insult you isn't because we have no arguments. The reason why we insult you is because your arguments are stupid. Like, it only takes 5 minutes to deal. Are you blind? Just put full links. Maybe go to live chat. Where did you put full links? YouTube often deletes links. You might want to send them to my email or something like that. Yeah, YouTube will often delete links in chats. Anyway, getting angry shows that insecurity. Remember, okay, there's a reason why we get angry, right? You want to know the reason why we get angry? It's because the shit that you say can be debunked in 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes, that's all it takes, right? Now, we can debunk that, but it doesn't matter if we debunk it, because you're just going to be like, well, what about this thing that says... It's like, okay, well, what about the actual studies that I've cited? Like, the studies that say that, stuff that says that. Where was it? Yeah, people who have the Delta virus and happen to have breakthrough infections can carry. Yeah, it's like you'll take half of that, and it's like, well, the breakthrough infections part is important. You know, the studies that say that you should get the COVID jab, the studies that say that you can get reinfected with COVID if you have had the COVID. Like, your arguments are stupid. They really are. If it takes 5 minutes to debunk them, then your arguments are stupid, right? And the thing is, the reason why we get angry isn't just because your arguments are stupid. It's like, yeah, we can debunk them in 5 minutes. Like, I don't get nearly as angry if a flat earther says the earth is flat and I can prove it, right? And then they don't listen to me. I don't get nearly as angry as that. Why? Because they're a flat earther, right? They're more these people that, they're funny. I did not dismiss your sources, BB. Your sources did not come up in chat. Do you see this thing that's... Hold on. Oh, wait, I just realised that. I just realised that when I was reading something, it wasn't on screen. But do you see this thing next to me here? This chat? If it doesn't come up in there, right, next to me, it's not going... Did anyone see the links to what he put come up next to me? If it doesn't come up there, I haven't seen it. So he says, I'm not anti-vax, I just realised its limitation. Yeah, I asked for sources. Send me the link in email. I cannot dismiss your sources if I don't know what your sources are. You have my email. You've sent emails to me before. The reason... I do. So, Feege. So, Extra J said, no, didn't see links last I heard. No, so actually Feege is actually probably right here. You probably do need either a wrench. I'm not sure that it's just wrenches, though. I'm sure that YouTube will stop most links. Just as I said, just send me an email. You've got my email. You sent emails to me before. You can do that. I know you can do that. Yeah, Charlie. It is funny that the flat earther knows that compared to BB. BB is like, oh yeah, I sent the thing. It's like, did it show up there? BB says you've torpedoed the debate. You could have been rational, but it's over. There was no debate. Your points were so stupid that I just had to look it up. Like, hold on, let me go over to the side here. Like, let me... You know, all I had to do was look up this stuff here. It's not hard to find. Hey, BB is saying, fuck off, mate, why would I debate you? You already did debate me, though, so... Now, the thing is, right, it's funny how, like, now BB is the one that's, like, angry, and now I'm, like, super calm and collected, because I've made my point, right? I've made my point that when it comes to this whole thing, it's like, the thing is, if you allow a virus to mutate, if you don't vaccinate people, then the virus will be allowed to mutate, and if it mutates, then it will be able to possibly circumvent the vaccines that we create. However, if you stop the virus from mutating, either by having people get vaccinated, then the virus will... You'll be able to effectively stop the virus. Now, the whole natural immunity argument, now you could say that natural immunity is better, but no, that's just not the case. People who have gotten COVID can be reinfected with COVID. In fact, it seems that you're better to actually get a vaccine. No, the vaccine will... Okay. Flat Earth Aussie Jesus. This is the point that I have to make. Right? Is everyone listening? Right? Everyone, listen up. Alright. So, how do antibiotics create superbugs? Well, it's very simple. The superbugs acquire immunity when there's bugs that are able to survive. You know, you have antibiotics, you know, you've got a bug that has resistance to nearly all antibiotics. You take a few antibiotics and one of them, you kill off most of the population, and then there is a bug there that has resistance. There's resistance to all antibiotics. Right? Now, that requires you to take antibiotics, and the superbugs, I don't know if they're too dangerous at this point in time. Now, it's because the reason why it's created why you've got superbugs is because you were taking antibiotics to literally just kill the bug. Now, when it comes to COVID vaccines, or vaccines in general, really, you take the vaccine, and you can, you know, you may have a mutation that will be able to circumvent the vaccine. Maybe you may have one, you may not. The issue is that even if you become, let's say that becoming immune to COVID was let's say that natural immunity was 100% effective, right? Let's say that was 100% effective. You get COVID and you can never get COVID again, all right? That would still cause the vaccine to mutate, right? Because that would still cause COVID to mutate, because the whole idea of a mutation is to circumvent your immunity to it, right? The whole point of COVID mutating, so up to a point, the point of COVID mutating is to increase infectivity, right? The more infectious strains are going to spread more. But at a certain point, you're going to have people that are immune to COVID. And when it mutates, it's like, okay, we're just going to mutate to circumvent immunity. Vaccines aren't going to make that happen. Vaccines aren't going to make it so that COVID mutates to circumvent immunity. Immunity in general will make COVID mutate to circumvent immunity. Like, whether you have natural immunity or whether you have vaccination immunity, whether you're vaccinated, no matter what, if it's going to mutate to circumvent immunity, it's going to do it regardless of how you acquire immunity. The issue comes when the fact that people can get COVID and pass it on to others at an alarming rate, that's when more mutations occur, right? So you have more people, when you've got more people getting COVID and more people spreading COVID, then you've got more of a chance for it to mutate. If you don't allow it to mutate, then you can potentially get rid of it. Betsy Klein says, I'm an RN. Superbugs are created when people don't finish a prescription of antibiotics. The bug doesn't get enough to kill it, and the bug develops resistance, and the antibiotic will no longer work. I think that is definitely partially true. I would, though, say that it's probably one of them things where there's a bit of DNA. There's probably if you've got a slight variation of a bug in you that is resistant to a certain thing of antibiotics, then it's probably going to be the one that survives out of all of them. Now, there is a bit of an issue with people not finishing antibiotics, yes, because that gives it more of a chance to be resistant to antibiotics, I guess. Right? Don't they have like sideways transfer, gene transfer or something that they can do? Something. I don't know. Okay. Let me see my emails. Do I have an email from this guy? No, I don't. Okay. Email me your... Okay, BB. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you email me within 5 minutes your information about whatever it is you're going on about, then I will bring it up and show everyone. But if you don't, I'm going to time you out, okay? Yeah, it's more than one thing. Yeah, cool. Viruses die when they can't affect a new host. Take away a new host for the lifetime of the virus, then boom. Much less virus to go around and easier to control. Exactly. And Fred Knotts made a good point. Yeah, no new polios, no new measles. Vaccinations work. And Lord Puggle says, don't superbugs come about whilst using a course of antibiotics? The most resistant live longest. Not completing the course allows most resistance to reproduce. This makes resistant strains. Oh yeah, that makes a bit more sense actually. Like if you've got an antibiotic that's if you've got a bug that's somewhat resistant to a antibiotic, then haven't you emailed it before? I'm sure you've emailed me before. BB. Bill, yeah, we've got Bill B. We had an email back and forth. Yeah, so So yeah, it's if email before. Never said that talking about Never said that talking about respiratory coronaviruses where they can't even cure the cold. I mean, there's a reason why. And there are potential... and besides, like, firstly, cold isn't nearly as bad as the coronavirus, alright? How many people a year does the cold kill? I'm actually curious. How many people have died from the common cold? We just get like things about the flu. Can you die from a common cold? Oh no, I don't want to sign up for this thing. Common colds. Yeah, it doesn't seem like very many people have died from the common cold. So, you know, that's not really a... Found it with him. Cool. Got 3 minutes left. Send me the thing. So because I will want to move on, and I'll just message someone. What? Oh, hold on, just send this person saying, alrighty, there we go. Let's see. BB, you're awfully talkative in chat for someone that should probably send me an email. Unless you want me to continuously ban you out in 2 minutes. You should probably be sending me the email. Didn't you say that you've... awfully talkative in chat for someone that still hasn't sent me the email. Let me check my spam folder. Just make sure that you're sending it to me. Yeah, I still haven't received anything. Awfully talkative in chat. We've got 1 minute. In 1 minute, I'm moving on. I hope you know. I hope you know that. In 1 minute, I'm moving on. I've got this clock here that says... Let's see. Let's give a countdown. Oh, 20 seconds. Oh, hold on. Because it's kind of... What I'll do is I'll put on a 1 minute timer, right? 1 minute timer. And when I see that 1 minute timer go off on my stream, that's it. So, I can see I'll be able to see the 1 minute timer coming up here on my stream. And once, he sent it. Okay, Washington Times. Let's see. Well, let's see what evidence here is. Biden's team's misguided and deadly COVID vaccine inventor questions mandatory shot push. Okay. The Biden strategy to universally vaccinate in the middle of a pandemic is bad science and needs a reboot. The strategy will likely prolong the most dangerous phase of the worst pandemic since 1918 and almost caused... Okay, the four flawed assumptions and... The first is that universal vaccination can eradicate the virus and secure the economy recovery by achieving herd immunity throughout the country and world. However, the virus is now so deeply embedded in the world population that, unlike polio and smallpox, eradication is unachievable. SARS-CoV-2 and its myriad mutations will likely continually circulate, much like common cold and influenza. The second assumption is that vaccines are near perfectly effective. However, available vaccines are quite leaky. Whilst good at preventing severe disease and death, they only reduce, not eliminate, the risk of infection, replication, and transmission. As a side deck from the Centers and Disease Control have revealed, even 100% effective of the current leaky vaccines combined with strict mask compliance will not stop the highly contagious Delta variants from spreading. Okay, few things. First is that you want to reduce the... you want to reduce the amount of infections, right, to stop mutations. That's an important part. The second thing is that, yeah, we know that the vaccines aren't 100% effective, but they're more effective than not, you know? Third assumption is that vaccines are... Who wrote this? Hold on. Who are these people? These people... Peter Naravo is an American economist and author. He served the Trump administration as the assistant to president. Oh. Oh no. Oh wait. Okay. This is his Twitter account. So Vex. Let's do our Australian news reporter thing. Wait, what was it? So Vax doesn't protect against infection and requires multiple booster shots with risks each time. Still want Big Brother Biden shoving this up your arm? Demand therapeutics like hydroxy and ivermectin be part of our fight against CCP virus. Yeah, I'm not going to trust what this guy has to say. Let me see who Dr. Robert Malone is. We have this person saying Robert Malone, the vaccine scientist spreading vaccine misinformation. Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Robert Malone claims to have invented mRNA technology. Why is he trying so hard to undermine its use? Robert Malone, a medical doctor and infectious disease researcher, recently suggested that the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines might actually make COVID-19 infections worse. He's chuckled as he imagined Anthony Fauci announcing that the vaccine campaign was all a big mistake and would need to be imagined. When he floated that nightmare scenario during a recent podcast interview with Steve Bannon, both men almost seemed delighted at the prospect of public health officials and pharmaceutical companies getting their comeuppance. This is a catastrophe, Bannon declared, beaming at his guests. You're hearing it from an individual who invented the mRNA vaccine. He hasn't. Alright, before going any further, let's be clear that some misinformation. The vaccines have... Okay. I'm wondering... Whenever he appears, Malone is billed as the inventor of mRNA vaccines. As in his Twitter bio, I literally invented mRNA when I was 28, says Malone, who is now 61. If he is true, or more to the point, if Malone believes it to be true, then you might expect him to be championing a very different message than in his media appearances. According to one recent study, the innovation for which he claims to be responsible has saved hundreds and thousands of lives in the United States alone. There's talk that it may lead to a round of Nobel Prizes. It's the kind of validation that few scientists in history have ever received. Yet instead of taking a victory lap, Malone has emerged as one of the most vocal critics of his own alleged accomplishment. He's so doubt about... Okay, Malone... Okay. When I called Malone from at his 50-acre horse farm in Virginia, he directed me to a 6,000-word essay written by his wife Jill that lays out why he believes himself to be the primary discoverer. This is a story about academics and commercial... It begins. The document's tone is printed, and at times lapses into all caps fury. She frames her husband as a genius scientist who is largely unknown by the scientific establishment because of abuses by individuals to secure their own places in the history books. Okay. A British version is that Malone was a graduate student in biology in the late 1980s. He injected genetic material into the cells of mice, hoping to create a new type of vaccine. He was the first author in a 1989 paper demonstrating how mRNA could be delivered into cells using lipids, which are basically tiny globules of fat, and a co-author in a 1990 science paper showing that if you inject pure RNA or DNA into mouse muscle cells, it can lead to the transcription of new proteins. It's the same approach worked for human cells. The later paper said in its conclusion, technology may provide alternative approaches to vaccine development. These two studies do present seminal work for... Okay. Malone says he deserves credit for more than just sparking hope. I didn't want to... Honestly, Malone seems bitter that he just wasn't given... One of... Okay. Yeah, he just seems bitter. That's all it is. Honestly, this... But I don't know why Malone is so adverse to this. Okay, okay. Okay, so he's gotten the COVID vaccine, but his symptoms haven't improved. But he got COVID. He got long-term COVID. Yeah, it just seems like he's bitter, like. And besides, he wasn't necessarily the inventor. Like, yeah, sure, it'd be like me. It'd be like, I don't know. Who's a good inventor person? It'd be like the inventor of the battery, right? Coming back to life and saying, don't use the Tesla batteries or whatever, don't, your phone batteries are bad for you. It's like, yeah, sure, they invented the batteries, but, I mean, phone batteries are different, right? It's the batteries that they invented. So, yeah. What other things were in that, so... 18 reasons to avoid the COVID vaccine. Let's see how bad this is. Oh, this isn't even... Like, the Washington Times one was at least... This doesn't seem like a trustworthy source, just letting you know. Alright. 1. Vaccine makers are immune from liability. The only industry in the world that bears no liability for injuries or death resulting from their products are vaccine makers. I mean... This is established vaccine makers cannot be sued. I mean, but that's the same for any vaccine, right? And besides, it's one of them things where, firstly, vaccines haven't been shown to be dangerous. In the few cases where vaccines may be dangerous, like when you've got certain allergies, there's generally ways to prevent that, from what I can tell. And that is by checking maybe the ingredients list to see if you are allergic to any of the ingredients, checking with your doctor, and even if you're allergic to some of the ingredients, I'm sure there's ways in which you can prevent the effects of the allergy. The checkered past of vaccine for... Okay, this seems dubious. Honestly, this... So, yeah, like, there was a lot of... I think, wasn't Moderna, like, even before now trying to get into vaccines or something? My memory is very hazy on that. Like, I think I saw a Thunderfoot video a while back. And I don't know what they mean by serial felons. Well, okay, so just... Okay. One of the really weird things here is that it's like, oh yeah, you're a serial felon because you've lost a lawsuit. I mean, that doesn't mean that their vaccines are bad, right? And also, like, the first company to ever bring a vaccine to the market, like, they hadn't brought a vaccine to the market before, so how can we trust... yeah, it's just stupid. The ugly history of attempts to make coronavirus vaccines. Okay, so it says, in the 60s, scientists attempted to make an RSV, but they skipped animal trials because it wasn't necessary back then. In the end, unvaccinated infants got much sicker than the vaccinated infants. Yeah, we do trials now. And it's like they don't understand the fact that trials are a thing. And hold on, in 2005, yeah, so this sort of thing here, saying they become more susceptible, isn't what's happening with the current vaccines. Like, what is this? It's like, yeah, so this thing happened, so therefore it's going to make you more susceptible to COVID. No! The data caps can... Okay. Simply don't know. Previous attempts to develop RNA have failed and have been abandoned because the dose was too low. The drug had... When was this put out? So it was either put out a few months... Oh, June 1st. So a few months ago. Yeah, this feels like it was written like last year. Honestly. Okay, this one is fair. The raw data, if it's true, like, I'd like to know the raw data. No long-term safety testing. Like, I mean, how long-term do you want? How long has the test going on, right? Do we need like a year, 2 years, 5 years, 60 years? No informed The Vex... Okay, this is just bullshit, as I've seen before. The idea is that, yeah, it's mostly designed to stop people who do get infected from being... It's mostly designed to stop people from being infected from getting bad symptoms. But it does reduce transmission or infection from what I've read. People... Oh! Number 10 is like the stupidest point. Yes! It's not 100% effective! God! The overall... I want to just... I want to smack my head so hard against this to just avoid the brain drain that this is causing. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. And if the next one is as... Okay, I'm going to just skip this Times of Israel one. Wait, hold on. Is this as bad as I think that it's going to be? Is this as bad as I think it's going to be? 14 is... Goodbye, cruel world. I am joking, that was a joke. This is... Like, let me go to the chat. Like, what are people saying in the chat? Like, this is... Okay, so... People can still get infected after getting the vaccine. It's not 100% effective, even if you get 3 shots. Wall Street Journal. Okay. Seemed to work in Australia, New Zealand, Australia, but now ruinous. Suppressive lockdowns are back. But it's still... I mean, it still works in New Zealand, so... I mean, I actually wonder, like, how's... Hold on, how's China doing? China. It's... What? They cite China, New Zealand, and Australia. The only place in which... Was there another one there that they said? Let me bring this over here so I can... Seem to work. Okay, among all countries. New Zealand, Australia, and China. Yeah, that's... When did China last... Like, yeah, sure, there are a few infections in China, but... That's tiny amount. Well, or at least compared to what it has. No new deaths, I don't think. Tiny amount. Right? Look at this tiny amount. Yeah, sure, there's like... Might be easier to see, like here, but there's also a tiny amount here, so... Tiny amount. China's a big place. Tiny amount. Okay, let me just switch over to this. Okay, here we go. On March 24th... Yeah, in May 2020, Okay, so New Zealand and Australia's... I mean, New Zealand's achievement of zero COVID. Like, yeah, sure, there'll be cases coming in, and sure, there may be a community thing, but it's like one of them things where we've been pretty successful, right? And I can't read the whole thing, so let's read the... I mean, New Zealand has been pretty successful, and it does help when you don't have as many people coming back into the country as well. You know, border control is an important thing. Fully vaccinated. Okay. Like, hold on. I want to see, does this... Infected. This does not prove what you think that it proves, BB. It says infected. I already said this. Alright, hold on. Well, I just want to check something. I saw something interesting that may actually... I want to be fair to him. So... dismiss... Go away. There we go. No. Okay, there's something here interesting. There's preliminary laboratory evidence suggesting that vaccination and previous infection may be less effective at... No evidence that is more... What strain are we talking... Oh, this is a different strain. Okay. Okay, that's just something interesting. Okay. Back to this. Alright. What's causing... Alright. Okay, this just seems like a thing. This just seems like a case of, yeah, mutations are going to be more effective than against the vaccinated. I mean, hold on. 50% of the vaccinated received both doses of the Sinopharm vaccine. What? Oh, what? That's interesting. How effective is Sinopharm vaccine? Efficacy rate. Hold on, let me see. Okay. It might be that... It might be that the fact that, you know, you were getting the Sinopharm vaccine, and it's 50.4% effective in preventing infections. It says most of the health workers received 2 doses of the vaccine. The efficacy to prevent an infection is not high, and this is something to consider once a high percentage of the population receives its 2 doses. Yeah, like... Oh! 94% effective at preventing deaths after 2 doses. Yeah, like... Yeah, like, it's... It seems that it's just far less effective, like... So, that's the answer here. This is... How do... Can people, like, just not? Like, can people just... Okay. Can people just... Can people just not, like, do this? Where they're like, wonder what this is! And just... Like, they just don't do any research. Can we just, like... Okay, here's the thing. I'm just going to ignore anything that isn't... Like, if it's from Wall Street Journal, yeah, I'll take a look at it. If it's from, like, Forbes, yeah, I'll take a look at it. If it's from... Like, the most reasonable things were the... Was it the Atlantic one? Oh, wait, no, this isn't... This is some... Like, oh, yeah. So the most reasonable ones were Washington Times, Forbes, and the Wall Street Journal. Like, and even then, it's like, you got to know what you're talking. Like, they need to, like, point out exactly what they're talking about for the idiots that just don't. That just read the headline and go, this proves my point. No, it doesn't prove your point. This is like... I'm sorry, but this is like really stupid stuff, BB. Like, to think that, like, this somehow contradicts my point that we should get vaccinated. It's like, yeah, fully vaccinated may transmit Delta variants just as much as people that haven't been vaccinated. And it's like, only the people that get infected. Like, vaccines are effective at reducing transmission. Like, just get your damn vaccine. Alright. I think it was Washington Times, like... What, like... In the Washington Times, like... I don't know, like, is this trustworthy? Is it trustworthy? I don't know. Wait. How... Hold on, first. How trustworthy is Washington Times? Oh, that... So it's... news source. Isn't there like a... News... Source... Trusts... Media bias chart. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh, this might be it. Oh, here we. Oh, go away. I just want to see. Okay, so where's the Washington Times on here? Where's the Washington Times? Oh, it's opinion or yeah. So okay. Well, what are some of the other things? Like Wall Street Journal, I think is fairly high up here. Yeah, Wall Street Journal is fact reporting. That's definitely a discrepancy. What was the other one? The other one was Forbes. So is Forbes even on here? Oh yeah. So yeah. So Washington Times. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not trust that. So yeah, maybe I'll just trust all these people here. You know, people above this line. Oh, it's worse than the New York Post. Okay, yeah, fuck the Washington Times. I'm not gonna trust... Yeah, it's worse than Fox... Okay, okay. If it's worse than Fox News and the New York Post, yeah, I'm not gonna trust it. Yeah. So, only 2 of those sources were, like, trustworthy. Like, hold on. Like, what? This is... Oh, wait, no, that's... News Africa. Like, where is that on here? Like, is it even on here? I like how Prague was also on here. No, I don't see News Africa on here. No, I don't see that on here, so... what else have we got? Times of Israel. No, I don't see that on here either. What else would we have here? Byron's... Okay, yeah, this is just not trustworthy at all. One person mentioned the BBC. Like, BBC is, like, fairly in the centre there. Like, I'd probably... Well, honestly, the Associated Press does seem, like, pretty centrist. Compared to, like, a lot of things. But it is interesting what you see here. Wait, does that... Wait, oh, that's the Washington Times, not the Washington Post. Like, I was just like, oh wait, there's the Washington Post and Washington Times. It's just making sure that... Nelsie asked Washington Post or Washington Times. Yeah, Washington Times was the one that I got sent a link to, so... Yeah. So very important to have high quality things. I wonder if he sent me another email. It'd be funny if he did, like, send me an email. Like, here's the thing. Here's what people need to stop, right? Need to stop trying to throw shit at the wall and see what... I might even make a video on this. Like, people need to stop throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, right? Because that seems to be something that happens quite often. People just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And you can sometimes be right, but throwing a whole lot of shit at the wall completely undermines your point. Like, it completely undermines your point, right? Because if I just throw shit at the wall to see what sticks, if one thing sticks, that can... It's like, okay, sure. But throwing a whole lot of shit at the wall, it's like, well, most of your shit's down there, right? Like, if you take, for example, let me try and have a good example. Let me think of a good example. Oh, let's take flat earthers. Flat earthers will just throw arguments at you. Thing that they can get you with, right? That's why flat earthers in debates, they'll ask their best questions or something, right? They don't have answers. They just have they just have questions. So flat earthers, what they'll do is they'll do this thing where they throw all these things at you, and they'll try and figure out which arguments will stick, and they'll stick with those arguments, right? Never mind all the arguments that failed. Those aren't their arguments. And this seems to be the same thing that's going on here. Is I've had a whole lot of arguments thrown at me. Most of them are bullshit. There may be a few valid points in there, but most of them are bullshit. Is it buffer? Oh, so people are saying that I'm getting buffering. Hold on. Let me just do a speed test. I did a speed test before the stream to make sure that it was alright, but... Well, it seems to be fairly fine download. Oh, geez. 7 megabits per second download. Oh, 8? 8? Yeah, 8.08. Yeah, I'm getting decent upload as well, like 8, 9 megabits per second. I'd like to, like, just... I'd like to be in a place like Dunedin where they've got, like, gigacity internet. Like, what's OBS looking like? OBS seems to be healthy at the moment. That seems okay again. Might have been just a slight dip. But yeah. And I know that BB is calling me, like, trying to get me to debate, but no, like, I'm not okay. Well, I'm not up to debating right now. Like, this is meant to be a chill stream. Like, sure, there was a melting of brains, but I want to move on to something else. Oh, Nelsie is talking about TERFs. That's a fun subject. Well, yeah, Lord Puggle says TERF. Let me see. There's something. Oh yeah, I was wanting to see like the Washington Times. Is it owned by? Is that actually owned by Rupert Murdoch? Is it owned by News Corp or Founders? I can't. Doesn't seem to be owned by Rupert Murdoch. I saw a name called Dinesh D'Souza as I was just scrolling by. Let me see. Yeah, it's not owned by Rupert Murdoch. Okay. Okay. The face when the host... I was just like looking like TERFs are a fun thing to are a fun like subject to make. TERFs are fun to make fun of, you know. Like it's really like TERFs are just funny. Like I've seen some things where it's like this trans guy who, or just transphobes in general are fun to make fun of. Like because I've seen this thing where there's like this trans guy who was told, you know, you'll never be a woman, and he's just like, well, thank you. An indie tiger for $10 says the Washington Times was owned by cult leader Sun Myung Moon. Okay, let me search that person up. Sun Myung Moon. Oh. This is actually rather interesting. So this guy... Okay. So... Oh, United States v. And of filing... was convicted of filing false federal income taxes. Okay. Okay, so that's interesting. Still not gonna... Still, not going to trust what he is to say. This actually makes the Washington Times seem more dubious, to be honest, like him being a, super religious leader. Do you watch Kate Montgomery's streams? No, I don't. Let me see who Kate Montgomery is. Kate Montgomery, oh, there seems to be a lot of Kate Montgomerys. Like, is it on YouTube or Twitch? Let me see. Is it Katie Montgomery? Oh, that's... Huh. That might be an interesting... well, I might subscribe. There we go. I think this is the right... I'm pretty sure this is the right one, seeing as it's TERFs. This is the right one, right? 10.2 thousand subscribers. Just subscribed now. Oh, that's an interesting thing. Trans woman and used to be transphobic. Like, is that like, what's her name? Blair White? But yeah, there we go. I'll watch. It's always fun to see TERFs, or to see people dunk on TERFs. Should I say? It's like TERFs themselves aren't fun, but dunking on TERFs is fun. You know. So BB says, "Planewalk, you are boring. At least I got you worked up because you couldn't handle the fact that you." Info wrong. Like, I didn't have wrong info. You were the one with wrong info. I got worked up because the simple fact that you're spreading misinformation. That's why I got worked up. But like, you're just completely full of bullshit. Like, all these things. This is just complete bullshit. Alright? Have source... What do you mean have sources? Like, of course I have sources. Like, I fact-checked all the things that you said. Like, there were things that I had up, that I'd had up earlier, that debunked what you had to say. Like, just because you throw things at me doesn't... And even your sources actually don't agree with you. Like, if your basics... Like, here's the thing. Like, if you're going to send someone sources... Don't send a whole lot, right? Here's a tip for anyone trying to send people sources. Like, a few really good sources, right, are way better than millions of, like, dubious sources. Right? Millions of... Like, you can have a million dubious sources, but none of them will like having a million dubious sources, even though one or two of them might be correct, it's actually worse than having like one really good source. If you have a really good source, then it's like, okay. Yeah, if you have one really good source, then it's like, okay, this source has this, that, and the next thing talks about this, and you can use this, and people will have to deal with that one source. However, if you have a million bad sources, right, then people aren't going to be able to argue with every single bit of information. But the optics-wise, they're going to argue with the little bits of information that they can debunk. And if you have like bad information, then they can really rail you on that bad information, right? That's a thing that happens no matter what you're talking about. Like if I provide bad information in my videos, right? No matter who I'm... Hell, I remember a video that I did years back talking about Mr. Dapperton. That's actually... Oh, he might be a fun person to have a look at. Right? Anarcho-capitalists are absolutely crazy. Anyway. he railed on me because I brought up EA. Right? Now, he was wrong. But, like, bringing up 1 point out of the many points that I went through was just, like... It was better for him. Now, I could have brought up better points. Now, here's the thing, like, he mixed up profit and stock price. No, I'm not feeling like debating you right now. Like, maybe another time. Maybe if you come through early on the stream. Oh, I have a notification from my server. Oh, wrong thing that I clicked. Okay, what do I want to go on? Oh, I want to go to, oh yeah, that's right, youtube.com. Let's see what Mr. Dapperton is up to. I remember debunking his stuff. What? I don't know if this is the same account that he had earlier. Okay. How the mighty fall from grace. Oh! Oh. I'm actually really... Okay, I'm actually really interested in what this guy has to say. Look, this seems like some good memes. Like, he's going back to 2016. Well, he's trying to go back to 2016. With, like, this... SJW cringe compilation. Like, I saw a thing from Xander Hall. Who was like... Let's bring back the SJW cringe compilations. Yeah, he said, let's bring back the cringe compilations, because that makes it easier for him. Like, guess what? This guy, who's lost all relevance, is doing cringe compilations. Not that it's doing him any favors. Like, what's this? Like, sort by most popular. Oh, jeez. Okay, this is the thing that I debunked years ago. The ultimate guide to anarcho-capitalism. Let's go, Yeah, but like, he used to be doing well. Anyway, let's go to this one. Like, he says that Vorsh promoted capitalism and didn't even know. This is going to be fun.
It feels like libertarians want to be deliberately irrelevant. because there are actually some salient criticisms libertarians could make that I really wish they would make. Imagine if the Libertarian Party was genuinely dedicated to decreasing the implicit violence the state levies at citizens.
What the fuck?
I mean, he's got a good point there, like... And wait, is this Mr. Dapperton? Wait.
We do. That's like our main talking point.
You know? What if libertarians campaigned on reduction of the police state?
No words can describe how stupid you sound right now. This is
Wait, is that...
literally...
Hold on. Oh, it is. It is. Like, I did not know that Mr. Dapperton looked like that. It looks like a, he looks a bit like Vosh. Like, look at him. He's like Vosh, but with like a less majestic beard and with shorter hair. All right.
Right now, this is literally our platform.
I mean, maybe a bit, like, but like it's not like one of. He's mostly talking about the Libertarian Party here. That's the criticism that Vosh is making, right? Because you got it's one of them things where some libertarians will campaign on that, but you know. Self-debate, yeah. It's Vosh's evil twin.
Non-interventionist.
Yes.
It's receding hairline Vosh.
So, demilitarization, you know? What if they campaigned on cutting back on like government corruption and waste?
One of the things that libertarians never shut up about is how the state always wastes tax dollars. And also, another thing we definitely never shut up about is the state's corruption. It's the reason why we want citizens to have the right to bear arms, so we can protect ourselves from government if it ever became tyrannical. You're sitting here saying that we don't talk about these issues, but that's literally the talking points of the Libertarian Party.
I mean, sometimes, but it's like if I go to the let me take the Libertarian Party at, let's go to Libertarian Party Twitter. Like, let's see. Party Twitter. Alright, wait, let's see what the things are. So okay, so okay, so they say thousands of. Okay, so they want to end all wars. Yeah, fair enough. In the post-George... What is this? In the post-George Floyd era... Oh, they're talking about non-aggression. Okay, so they're... Oh, so they're talking about masks now. Ah. Mandating, and they're talking about vaccines. Oh, hold on, what's this? Tell me you don't know what socialism is without telling me you don't know what socialism is. And this person says, today's anniversary of Medicare and Medicaid reminds us to reflect on the critical role these programs have played to protect the healthcare of millions of families. To safeguard our future, we must reject socialist healthcare schemes. What? I don't even know. I don't even know like, yeah, whose side to take. Like, I think I don't know. I mean, it's one of them. It's one of them things where it's a mixed bag. Yes. People talking about non-aggression principles, but mostly talking about like masks and stuff. Like if they talked less about masks, then it would be fine. Oh no. Oh wait, actually no, this is actually a good take. Critical race theory is one of those distracting sideshow issues that Republicans and Democrats love. It's designed to make you fight over which side I mean, okay. The first part, this part was good. Oh. Democrats don't love it as much as Republicans do, but that part was good. But the rest of it is like, it's designed to make you fight over which side gets to indoctrinate your children. Instead, we should be... yeah, critical race theory is one of them things which, like, the Republican side loves to talk about critical race theory because no one actually knows what critical race theory is, and it sounds scary. But how does Vosh actually accidentally promote capitalism?
Like, this is all we talk about.
What if they like wanted to structure the tax code more ethically? So like at the very maybe people pay less taxes, but it's more fairly distributed, or there are fewer tax loopholes. What if we wanted to talk?
I generally hear libertarians say we don't want tax at all. So
Talk about excessive regulation.
Like right now, I'm convinced you've never heard of the Libertarian Party before, because this is literally their platform, bro.
Which is a real problem, by the way. In some instances, I do actually think small businesses are overregulated.
No shit. That's what we've been saying. In fact, we're the only party doing something about this. But you say that we're the only party not. Like, do you know... You obviously know nothing about the Libertarian Party. It's so clear.
There are cities that have problems with this, where it's really tough to start a new business because there are a bunch of, like, old and poorly organized laws that...
I mean, to be fair, like, when I went down here, like, is there anything about... I haven't seen anything about taxes. Oh, here we go. Here's the first thing about regulations and taxes. The first thing from, like, June 23rd. We're going back, like, 2 months, almost.
Heed the construction of a new business, and it can hurt the economy.
I would like libertarians more if they campaigned on these things. Then what does he do? He proceeds to read the entire Libertarian Party platform in its entirety. This guy obviously knows nothing about libertarianism, but he criticizes it. Wow.
If they were making arguments like that, then fine, they could contribute worthwhile conversations.
So here you are admitting that we put forth worthwhile conversations. You just admitted that we're right. The only reason...
Oh, this is like saying... So, you say that you like money, right? You think that money is a good thing. Well, therefore, I say that money is a good thing. So, therefore, we're right. Boom. That's so... Like... Vosh was more promoting this idea that there are certain things that libertarians can campaign on, whilst he was criticizing other things that libertarians do that isn't so great. Like if libertarianism keeps talking about things like masks, then it's like, we're going to shit on them for that. Of course we're going to shit on them for things like masks. right? But if they're just pushing things like, you know, if they're pushing things like, oh yeah, like we think that maybe we should have more concise regulation, then it's like, okay, well let's do that. Like let's try and make the regulations concise and clear. Try and get rid of things like tax loopholes. Yeah, it's exactly. Like conceding a point is not surrender. Like it's so stupid. I'm really tempted to look at the SJW cringe compilation. Do we do that? Oh no! There's multiple of them. There is multiple. Oh no! Oh geez, this is... I'm just going through this and it's looking worse and worse the more I go down. Oh, that's because we're going to like 4 or 5 years back. What's... Yeah, like... If we go back, like... Yeah, so we go 4 months ago, it was getting decent, like, views. Okay, sometimes. But... Like, did he stop making videos for a while? Yeah, I think he, like... He seemed to stop making videos for a while, and then, like... Came back, I think. And, like, his content is, like... terrible now. Okay, okay. I'm gonna make a poll. Do we watch the cringe compilation? Or play chess? We're gonna go chess, cringe. What do we? There we go. What do we do? And then it'll be... I'll probably still play a bit of chess afterwards. Because I've got somebody that I sometimes play chess against. Oh, it's 50-50. So, with 4 votes, I've got a vote for cringe. I'll just take a screenshot, so... I've got someone that wants to, that would be keen to play chess. So, Control Shift S. There we go. Got 67% of votes for cringe and 33% for chess. I'll give it like until 11:40. Someone's saying, how do I share this game with me? Because I'm not sure. see. I'll just yeah, it seems like cringe is. We'll go for the cringe-tality one, and we'll see, like, I don't know. Because that one was like 2 months ago. I mean, when it came to this thing, like, I mean, he was doing alright, and he actually had somewhat salient points until he said, "You just admitted that we won." Okay, that was interesting. I saw this game here. I'm gonna copy the link. I saw this chess game here, where it was like there to there. I don't know where the queen was sitting there. Where did the bishop go? Wait, no, the horse go. Trade, maybe. Maybe. I'll just send a message to someone and then... I don't type what I'm saying in chat, though. That's the thing. That's the difference between me and R1. I was just thinking... What about wizard chess? Wizard chess seems like it would be like fun, but you'd go through a lot of chess pieces, wouldn't you? How do you play cringe chess? I don't know. You just go yeet my queen. I don't know. I don't know what's cringe. It's hard to be cringe, to force cringe than to naturally be cringe, you know? Alright, there we go. We're doing the cringe compilations. So, here we go. Cringe compilation.
Okay, let me give you some context about the video clip you're about to see. This woman wants to protest for Black Lives Matter, so she buys some poster board to put BLM on it. She runs into a black woman, and this is how she reacts.
I just came out of Fry's because I wanted to buy some poster board in case we decided to go stand on some corners, and I couldn't go to self-checkout because all my poster boards didn't have barcodes, so I decided to wait in line, and just so happened to be a black lady. And she looks at me and she says, "I know where you're going and I appreciate it." And I said, "You shouldn't have to." And, you know.
What's cringy about this? Is it because she's crying? Or is that it?
We shared our kind words and she's like, "I'm gonna cry, you give me chills. But be safe." And I'm like, "You shouldn't tell me to be safe. You need to be safe every day of your life."
What's cringy about that? Is it because she's crying?
Cringe-tality. Flawless victory. Number one, I don't believe you. Number two, if this did happen, why would you gloat about it on TikTok?
Okay, that is a good point. Like, I would say that you probably shouldn't say about this, you know, on TikTok, but like, sometimes it's nice to have these stories out there. You know? Like, it does seem a little bit, virtue signally, but that's like the only, that doesn't make it cringe.
Wouldn't doing the good deed be enough on its own? But no, here you are gloating and trying to get clout on TikTok, obviously showing that just doing the good deed by itself isn't good enough. And knowing that you're helping black people, that's not good enough for you.
I mean, sometimes people like to tell stories, though. Like, if I tell someone a story of what I did, right? Sometimes it's to inspire people. Like, if I'm telling a story, it's not always to get clout or something. Sometimes it's like, okay, I'll tell this story so that I can, I don't know. Yeah, if it's emotional for the person involved, it might be a reason to tell others. Good point, yeah. Oh, this is a video that I need to watch.
You have to go on TikTok and gloat to get more recognition from people and to virtue signal and to get congratulations from people. That's what you obviously care about. Because if you just cared about black people, you would just do the good deed and leave it at that.
I mean, you can care about both, can't you? Like, can't you do both? Like, oh, I'm pretty sure that you can do a good deed and then be like, oh, hey, look, everyone, I did a good deed. That doesn't take away from the fact that you did a good deed. It may question your motives for doing the good deed, bring into question your motives for doing the good deed, but it doesn't mean that you didn't do the good deed, right? Like if I did a few years back, right, I did something, I can't think of any good deeds that I've done recently. I probably have done some good deeds recently, but just hard to. I mean, I'm often stuck in my room. Anyway, a good deed that I did a few years back was when I was on my way home from school. Okay, this is a long time ago, but still, I was on my way home from school and I saw someone break down, so I decided, okay, yeah, I'll try and. Well, the car stopped working, so I thought, okay, yeah, I'll stop to try and help the person. It's just a good deed. I think I told people about it because, you know, it's like, it's nice to have people know that you did a good thing, right?
But no, you obviously care about the clout. That's why you're sitting there trying to get it. So stop acting like you care about black people. You don't.
You can care about black people and care about, like, people recognizing what you've done. That's a thing that people can do. Right?
Care about you and getting clicks and getting likes.
Mr. Dapperton, you're cringier than the person in the cringe, in your so-called cringe-tality thing.
And getting thumbs up, and getting recognition, and getting applause. And when I snapped this video already had 355,000 likes. It has even more now. That's what you care about. The likes and the clout. That's what you care about. Nothing else. You don't...
She can care about both. Is this like... Hold on, let me just put this into 2 times speed.
Care about black people. Don't pretend you did, because if you did care about black people, you would just do the deed and leave it at that. You wouldn't feel the need to have to gloat or clout chase. Let me just bring up the fact that you live in an imaginary world, a scary world, where black people are just killed just for being black by police. That's not what's happening. Police aren't just finding black people and just killing them just because they're black. They're usually resisting arrest, and that's the problem. Don't resist arrest.
Isn't he a libertarian person? Like, yeah, just don't tread on me, but please. You cannot parody these people. It's like, don't tread on me, but you shouldn't resist arrest. Like, yeah, I do get like that you shouldn't resist arrest, right? But like that's sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna grab my thing, and then the cops are just too scared, like they're like boom, 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 and it's like, oh fuck, I'm dead. I was just reaching to grab my wallet. You know, police can be super jumpy at times. And it's like, surely police could do things in a way that is better. Like, with the whole George Floyd thing, there's no reason to have his knee on his neck for that long. Right? I'm pretty sure, like, in New Zealand things are better, but, like, in America, like, it seems, like, pretty... D-Lay says the most frequent question I hear in all those arrest videos is, what are you arresting me for? Yeah, that's a good point. And that is what is counted as resisting arrest. Yeah, like, if it's like, what are you arresting me for? And it's like, just shut up and, it's like, well, no, I want to know what you're arresting me for, like... It's like, I'll cooperate, but... cooperation is a two-way thing. I'll cooperate with you if you cooperate with me. Just tell me what you're arresting me for, right?
That is absolutely crucial to your survival. Don't fight a cop if you don't want him to defend himself. It's simple. And yes, there are cases where police kill people due to negligence. That has nothing to do with race. Police aren't killing black people just because they're black. I'm sorry, but you are.
I mean, police do have... You're more... Isn't there like a... I think it's... There's this thing. Okay, I think this is it. There's something in here about okay, here we go. Here's something to here's something to go look at. Investigation of the Ferguson Police Department. Oh, I wish they'd cite the. I wish citations would be. Yeah, racial bias. Ferguson's law enforcement practices overwhelmingly impact African Americans. Data collected by Ferguson Police Department from 2012 to 2014 shows that African Americans account for 85% of vehicle stops, 90% of citations, and 93% of arrests made by FPD officers, despite comprising only 67% of Ferguson's populations. African Americans are more than twice as likely as white drivers to be searched during vehicle stops, even after controlling for non-race variables such as the reason the vehicle stop was initiated, but are found in possession of contraband 26% less often than white drivers, suggesting officers are intermissibly considering race as a factor when determining whether to search. This debunks his point. Right? This. What other things can I get from this thing? Oh, there's. Oh, that's a WordPress thing. Well, this is like an official. Oh, this is just general stuff, but yeah, this is... Delay says, and the funniest worst thing is that police investigations are internal and not done from independent officers. Funny because it's dumb, worse is because it allows officers to get away with virtually anything. Yeah, true. But like, this thing, is this an internal report or an external one? Oh, it's Justice of Civil Rights Division, so it might be a external report or a Yeah, it's okay. This is not an internal report, so. But yeah, this is a thing that happens. Like, this debunks your point. Just saying that it's a thing, that it's not a thing, doesn't mean that it's not a thing.
Are delusional. Okay, the next following clip is gross. I gotta warn you. Make sure you pay attention to what this person is doing. Okay, just pay attention.
Okay, so we'll go back to like regular Speed, because apparently it's like a.
All right, let's roll it.
They're picking up dog poop. Did they step in their dog's poop? Kind of looked like they stepped. Wait, did they use their...
Did you see that? She picked up dog shit with her mask and put it back on. That's just...
That's not... Wait, how's that SJW cringe? It's just general cringe, right? That's just...
disgusting. And what's really sad is she probably thinks what she's doing is really smart. Like, I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm getting multi-purposes out of my mask. Like, what a fucking idiot.
I can't breathe with this mask on. I'll die. Then die. Put the mask on. Let's see it.
I woke up to hundreds of hateful comments on one of my most recent videos about how I just think people should be wearing masks.
Yeah, so telling people to just die, yeah, it's probably going a bit overboard, to be honest. Like, saying, just die. I mean, it's probably going a bit overboard, but, like, it's one of them things where they should be wearing masks, you know?
Masks for COVID. It's the craziest thing. But I was basically told that by hundreds of people that I should die.
Wait, you told innocent people to die, and then they...
Yeah, it is a little bit weird that she told people to die and then got upset that they told her to die. That's a fair one. Yeah. I mean, if I told someone to jump off a bridge, I wouldn't be surprised if people were to tell me to jump off a bridge, you know?
turned it back on you and said, you should die. And now you're the victim?
There is a point at which it's like there is a point at which things become where the point needs to be made. I think, like, yeah, this guy, like, he's got 2 out of 3. Like, I'll give him only half a point though for the second one, because the second one wasn't really an SJW cringe thing. It's just like cringe in general. Like, I don't know. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's actual SJWs.
How does that work? Sounds to me like Karma's just a bitch. Just so you know, I got these videos from a little Twitter profile called Libs of TikTok, which basically just posts TikTok videos that are really cringy on his Twitter profile. And it's a fantastic Twitter profile.
Okay. Yeah, this is I just, like, the first one was just not cringy at all. It's like, yeah, it's a little bit virtue signally, but but like, oh, you could say, here's what we could say to the first one. Mr. Dapperton, couldn't you just disagree with what she has to say? Why do you have to go and make a video about it? Isn't it just enough for you to just to disagree? But yeah, like the third one, understandable. Like why she was getting told, you know, to just die. The second one was just like, it wasn't even SJW. It's just like someone with a mask that used it to pick up the dog shit. and then put it back. That's really, it's just really weird. Anyway, I'll have a game of chess against what I'll do is it can be anyone actually, so I'll play with a friend. We'll go 10 minutes per side, and we'll just go 1 minute increments. Okay, so whoever has this link, whoever clicks this link can face me. Alright, so I'll also send it to... And we'll play a game or two of chess. So Bill Baggins says, I don't know what SJW is, but this guy seems to be doing the same thing. Yeah, SJW stands for Social Justice Warrior. And like... Essentially, it's assigned to someone that's... Social Justice Warrior has lost all meaning. At this point, right? Like, if you're an SJW, generally it's meant that you're on the left and that you are overly annoying about certain things. And yeah, sometimes you get those people, but it's becoming less and less common. Like, I actually want to know what happened to 2016. Like, why is it that in 2016 you had so many people railing against the social justice warriors, but these days you don't? Like, what is the reason for that, I wonder? Like, is it just that people have gotten less entertained? Or is it something different? Maybe it's that social justice warriors have learned that, oh, yeah, we can't just do this. We'll do things differently. All right. Send the message to the George said. But if anyone else clicks the link in the chat before he does, I'm pressing you. I got a notification on my phone for TikTok. Oh geez, I didn't want to... How many times have I gone onto my phone and hit the camera button by accident? Kia no says, bummer, I'm only good at cheese. Is that close enough? Let me just... I'm going to go back through the chat. See if there's anything that I've missed. Bill Baggins... Oh, Bill Baggins had a good point. Doing a good deed for a stranger is a wonderful thing. If you can get others to experience the same joy by sharing the story, then you've done at least 2 good deeds. Yeah, that's a good point. Gorgonzola takes Wensleydale. What? I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's 2 different types of cheese or something. I'm not a big... Like, here's the thing. I like Colby cheese, and that's about it. Sometimes I'll have Parmesan cheese on top of something. But like, I prefer, like, Parmesan. I mean, not Parmesan. Colby. Most other cheeses... Well, there's also a quote-unquote tasty flavour, but... But, like, that's... Do they have cheese? Yeah, of course they have cheese in New Zealand. Yeah, it's just something that, like, people seem to like really fancy cheeses, but I don't have that same interest in fancy cheeses, to be honest. I think I got a text from someone. Oh, it's an ad text. Cheese is like... I like cheese, I just don't like the fancy cheeses. You know, it's like... Camembert is like, no, not too keen on that. Blue cheese, I'm not too keen on that. It's like all these fancy cheeses that I'm just... Like, just give me plain cheddar cheese. Save your money. Like, what's the point of fancy cheese? Is it just because it's fancy that you like it? I'm gonna put the link back in the chat as well. Marble... I don't know what marble cheddar is. Is that blue cheese? I don't like... I just prefer normal plain cheese that... Like Colby. Colby is just your general... You get it in a block of cheese. You might grate it, you might slice it. You do all sorts of things with it. How's Blue's... I generally see it as fancy. You ever tried a bit of molten gorgonzola on a toast? No, I haven't. Just cheddar. It's a mix of white and yellow cheddar. Okay. Yeah, like the cheese that I get, as I said, is Colby. I don't know. I'm not a cheese expert as well. Like, you stick to cheddar, double glass, and Ridley. Just about. I know what the other cheeses are called. Okay, jalapeno Havarti. That might be interesting. I do like jalapenos. I do like spicy stuff. Now, whether it will actually be tasty or not is a different story, but that's something that I'm willing to try. I like spicy stuff. Would it be spicy if it's cheese though? I don't know. I don't mind too much when you like take like fancy cheeses and like combine them in like a cheese sauce or something, but it's like by themselves, it's just not a big fan. Even with crackers, it's not a big fan. You know, the whole cheese, crackers, and pineapple or whatever. Gorgonzola is spicy and salty, so you have all in one. Okay. I don't know if I've tried Gorgonzola. Just got here. Are we talking about cheese or Jesus? So we're talking about cheese's crust. The lard and savoury. I don't know, like, that's something that I came up with back in school. Like, it's the easiest joke to make. I'm also waiting for someone to face me in chess. I want to have a good game of chess. Like, wait, what's FTFE up to? Apparently he's a good... Well, I'll see if FTFE is around. Maybe I might be able to have a good game of chess with him, because apparently he's good at chess. At least he's told me he is. Okay, cheese on toast is generally nice. Oh, there we go. I don't know who I'm up against. Oh, that's an interesting opening. Let's play that. E5. gives up the centre. I have a lot of control over the centre, and we'll probably play there, I'm guessing? Unless he plays there, in which case I'd probably be best to play there, then there, and then I'd probably... If I were to go there, there... I'd probably be forced... You have no idea what you're doing? Okay. Okay, that was a strange move. In which case, yeah, let's go there. It also prevents there. Because... Probably going to double up pawns. I'm imagining their tanks. Their weird pawn structure. Oh! I've got a nice trap. I've got an interesting trap here. I might be able to... Plan I was working on a Knights tour right now. Oh, I'm versing Nel C. Okay. Okay, let's go with this. Let's go with this line. There's a funny line here. Could lead to mate with an... Or no, wouldn't quite be mate. Let's get the queen out. And we're gonna sack a piece. We're actually gonna sack 2 pieces. I don't care about that pawn. That pawn can... Okay. So check. I'm gonna lose this. Now, there. Probably take. Or get the knight out of the way. I don't want to pre-move this. Oh no, we didn't discuss Mike Lindell's Symposium. Oh no, we're not castling yet. We're gonna take away castling rights. We're opening up things. Yeah, that's what I expected. Check. 1 legal move, or 2 legal moves actually. There and there, but I win the rook. So, actually, there was another move, but I would have won the pawn. Oh, I've got an interesting strategy here. How to go about it? I can win the queen, I think. Yeah, this move would have been there. We'll go check. Oh yeah, this works. This works with my strategy. I'll go probably go there, but depending on, like, I'm guessing there is coming. In which case I can just take. Yeah, I can just take a free pawn. Yeah, let's take the free pawn and let's. Oh, I want to do the next move. I gotta. I can deliver mate within like a few moves. If this person, I guess you should be listening to. Yeah, you probably should. Because like, if it had been there, I would have been able to go. I'd have been able to move stuff. Okay. Here. We're gonna got mate within a few moves. Probably not a few moves, but like, I'm gonna just. His probably best move is to move the king, honestly. Otherwise it's take. Oh. Oh no, he couldn't move the king. That's because it would have been check. Okay. That move didn't really work either. So I had all that planned out as well, like the winning the queen thing. Now it's just. I think I can win in about 3 moves. Or I'm guessing it's something like there, or what if there I go there, so it doesn't. Or if there I've got a lot of places a lot of moves I can do. I've also got here as well. But that doesn't really work into my plan. Okay, well, got here. Okay, well, that hangs everything, so. Like, everything is hanging right now. I'm winning, like, next move, I think. Within, like, 2 moves, I can probably win this. Yeah, there we go, checkmate. Like, there was a massacre. Like, I want to see the analysis board, like. What does Stockfish reckon? Like, Stockfish should probably. Oh, it's like. Not even. Stockfish. So, Stockfish recommended I take. Recommended that back there. Recommended I take. Recommended, like, there. It's like given up, basically. Why not just take? Why not just take here? King takes. Check. Yeah, I'm sure there's like a forced mate in here somewhere. Whatever. Did it see any forced mates? Yeah, wanted me to take there. I did not expect that move, to be honest. Yeah, I did not expect knight to there. I've sort of had pre-planned moving there, and so I didn't take the obvious, hanging knight. What else is there? No, it doesn't look like there's any... Doesn't look like there's any forced mate at any point. Yeah, I don't think it liked that. I did like that move. It didn't... Did it like e4? Oh, yeah, it recommends e4. And it recommends me taking. Oh, it doesn't... It didn't like f6 there. Queen to f6. Yeah. I don't know how to play Go. I prefer chess. I recommended I actually check there. What would have this line been like? And then just back to standard development. We've traded bishops. Yeah, castle. Oh, it doesn't want white to castle for some reason. Oh, now it does. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Alright. Well, I'm gonna head off and... Oh, one of the... before we head off, like, has anyone heard anything to do with the whole 15th of... 15th of January stuff? I haven't. Like, so, Garrus asked Planner, what is your favourite type of music / band of? One of my favourite bands would have to be System of a Down. Actually, I think I've got my guitar here. Oh, I also forgot to mention that this is on Teespring. Like, I was going to bring it up earlier, but I completely forgot to. Okay, where's a pick? Let me switch over to the... Let me switch over my OBS to... Not really POD, unless you're talking about the pick of Destiny. I like that, let me go to there. Oh, there we go. Okay, where's my pick? I have, like, picks somewhere. I need to clean up my makeup and stuff. Give me a few seconds. Oh, yeah, speaking of Destiny, give me a few seconds. Okay. Oh. I actually learned something on my keyboard recently. I think it goes... shit, I've forgotten it. Nah, forgotten it. I've completely forgotten how it's supposed to go. Anyway. System does an amazing cover of The Legend of Zelda? I did not know that. Anyway. I should probably stand up for this, to be honest. Like, if I'm going to be singing this. Alright, so before I start singing, leave a like and subscribe if you like the stream. Leave a comment letting me know what I should do for future streams. I'll see you in the next stream, between you and me. Thank you for watching. Here we go. Eating seeds is a pastime activity. The toxicity of our city, No, what do you own the world? How do you own disorder? Disorder. Now, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder, disorder, disorder. More wood for their fires, loud neighbors. Flashlight red rays caught in the headlights of a truck. Eating seeds is a pastime out. The toxicity of our city, it's so shitty. No, what do you own the world? How do you own disorder? Disorder. Now, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder, disorder, disorder. What do you own the world? How do you own disorder? Now, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder, disorder, disorder. I shone life into a man's heart. When I became the sun, I shone life into a man's heart. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the $5, Graymore Ghost. Yeah, I've been getting it bigger. Been getting better at singing. Actually, because of that, what I'll do is I'll go into a song which there's one part which I've got to try and get. It's really easy to get the sort of lower parts, but the higher parts. Fall. Swimming through the void, we hear the words, we lose ourselves, but we find it all. So we are the ones that wanna play, always wanna go, but you never wanna stay. And we are the ones that wanna choose, always wanna play, but you never wanna lose. Aerials in the sky. When you lose small mind, you free your eyes. Life is a waterfall. We drink from the river, then we turn around and put up our walls. Swimming through the void, we hear the words, we lose ourselves, but we find it all. We are the ones that wanna play, always wanna go, but you never wanna stay. We are the ones that wanna choose, always wanna play, but you never wanna lose. Here's the high part. Aerials in the sky. When you lose my mind, you free your eyes. Aerials go up high. When you free your eyes, eternal prize. Aerials in the sky. When you lose aerials so up high. When you free your eyes, eternal prize. Yeah, the heavy part is hard to get the vocals right. I'm gonna have to listen to that a couple of times to try and get the, because what I do is I shift key a bit, but I can't go too high on that because otherwise it becomes very difficult to hit the higher notes. But thank you, Keanu, for saying that it's a nice Aerials cover. Anyway, time to end up the stream. Oh, where is